everyone, my name is Ruth and I work at the Butler County Farm Bureau, and today I'm going to talk with you about a favorite treat, popcorn. And I'm going to read the book Popcorn Country. It's a story of America's favorite snack. It's written by Chris Peterson. How do you like your popcorn? Based in melted butter, kettle cooked with sugar and salt, slathered in gooey caramel, or gobbled by the bucket at the movie theater. Any way you munch it, popcorn is one of America's favorite treats. Every year we devour 4.5 billion gallons of the stuff. That's enough to fill the Empire State Building from top to bottom 18 times. But America's love for popcorn isn't half as amazing as how it has grown and how it has turned into the best snack ever. Popcorn comes from the land of wind turbines. We have wind turbines, don't we, here in Iowa, and flat as a pancake prairie. This part of our country is called the Corn Belt, which Iowa is a part of the Corn Belt. It's fertile land and it reaches from Ohio to Nebraska. Over 90 million acres of corn are grown each year in the United States, but only a tiny portion of those acres are popcorn. There are 4 kinds of corn grown in the United States. Dent corn, that's what we have in our fields, the field corn. Sweet corn, which you guys eat every summer. Flint corn, and popcorn. So there are 4 main kinds of corn grown in the United States. The first one, most of the corn you see while traveling through the Midwest is dent corn, and it is mainly grown to feed the animals such as the cattle, the hogs, the chickens. Its ears are usually larger than other kinds of corn, and its kernels become indented when the corn is dry. That's why it's called dent corn. You cannot pop dent corn. Now this is an example of dent corn. I took this ear out of our field and you can see when it dries it gets a little indentation or a little dent in those kernels, and it's really good sized, isn't it? Sweet corn is the type that we eat right off the cob, and here's a picture of ear of sweet corn. It's about 8 inches long. It contains more sugar than any other corn. The sweet corn plant is usually a bit shorter than the dent corn, and the ears are picked when the kernels are tender and juicy. So they don't wait until fall. When it dries, they pick it like in July, don't they? You can't pop sweet corn either because there's too much moisture in it. Here's a picture by my finger of flint corn. And flint corn is sometimes called Indian corn. It's named for its hard kernels, and it comes in a multitude of colors. It's a close relative to popcorn, but it doesn't pop very well. Here's popcorn. It has smallest ear of all. When the corn is ready to harvest, the kernels are shiny golden and hard as rocks. You can't eat popcorn unless it's popped. So I'm going to show you this ear that came from our field, and that's the dent corn, isn't it? Now this is an ear of popcorn. Can you see how much smaller it is? It takes a lot more popcorn ears to make the same amount of corn if you had dent corn in your field. Popcorn seeds are planted in April or early May. The long, straight rows of popcorn will be knee-high by the 4th of July. By August, the field will be a jungle of rigid green stalks, rustling leaves, and bugs. Roots reaching over 6 feet into the ground pull the moisture and the nutrients into the plants that stretch so tall that they could tickle the chin of a young giraffe. That's about 10 feet tall. It takes 25 inches of rain to grow a crop of popcorn. By fall, the popcorn is ready to pop. And boy, can it pop. If all 20 million kernels of popcorn on 1 acre of land that's about the size of a football field, pops at once. Piles of the white fluffy snack would cover the ground like 4 inches of snow. But popcorn cannot pop right out of the field. It first has to be harvested. Giant machines, harvesters called combines, roll across the prairie and separate the ears of corn from the plant. The dry leaves that cover the ears are called husks. The husks and pieces of cob are discharged from the back of the combine as the golden kernels are shelled from the cobs. So the corn goes in the combine right here, it goes through the machine and it fills this grain tank. Then they take this auger and they open it up and they pour that corn into a wagon. Here are the wagons that I was talking about. The kernels pour into the grain tank at the top of the combine. Then the trucks haul the popcorn to a processing facility where 160 million kernels per truckload are unloaded into big silver bins. See these great big grain bins? Those are just like our grain bins that we have. The popcorn is conditioned or dried in the bins to just the right amount of moisture. So inside of each one of these little kernels on this ear of popcorn, there's a little speck of water, because when it's heated, that water evaporates and it pops the kernel open. Next, the popcorn travels on a conveyor to the processing room where the grain dances across jiggling screens that shake the broken kernels and pieces of corn cob out of the popcorn. Then it travels to a vibrating gravity table. By big blowing fans cause the grain to tumble in the air. So each time it cleans the popcorn a little bit more, doesn't it? The lighter popcorn kernels and any remains of husk and cob fall away, and only the just right kernels stay in the machine. The kernels fly by an electric eye that checks for the uniform color. If a kernel is discolored, a blast of air shoots it off the processor. Finally, the popcorn is ready to test for poppability. A half pound of every truckload of popcorn is tested in a special designed kettle-style popper that looks just like the poppers you see at the movie theaters. The testing lab smells like a movie theater lobby. As the waterproof hull or outside of the kernel heats up in the hot oil, the bit of moisture inside of it turns to steam. Remember, I told you each one of these kernels has a little speck of water in it. When it's heated up, it turns to steam. And the steam softens the inside of the corn kernel, and the pressure inside the kernel builds up until the temperature reaches 347 degrees, and the starch pops open, it explodes. The tiny steam-powered bomb pops inside. In a fraction of a second it's cool, and in a crunchy treat. The popcorn is then poured into a large tub to measure its volume. If the moisture in each kernel isn't just right, the popcorn won't pop big enough to meet the standard by the processor. When it passes the popcorn ability test, it is ready for the final packing step. So that's what they test the popcorn kernels in, and it looks just like the one in a movie theater. The popcorn kernels are ready to bag and ship out. Some popcorn is packaged in microwave bags, some is poured into jars and bags for movie theaters, sports venues, and grocery stores, and much of the popcorn is loaded into 1-ton bags that look like a giant white building blocks. See those big white bags? The totes travel by truck to the Great Lakes, where they are loaded onto container ships and sail across the Atlantic Ocean to the countries all over the world. Some totes travel on barges down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico, where more container ships are waiting. The United States produces nearly all of the world's popcorn. So we produce all of the popcorn that people eat in the world. The magic sound of popcorn popping and the irresistible aroma of a heaping bowl of fluffy, flaky goodness is a treat nearly everyone enjoys. One of the most loved snacks in the world explodes into buttery deliciousness and makes parties, movies, and carnivals extra special. America is popcorn country, and popcorn is America's gift to the world. And we just talked about it here. We can eat popcorn at parties. We can eat it when we watch a movie at home. We can eat it at the movie theater. We can eat it at the ball games when we go to the ball games. So when we talk about popcorn, again, we're going to see this small little ear of corn. And when you look at this ear of corn, the outside of the kernels is yellow. So some corn, when it's popped, looks like, or when it's grown, before it's popped, it looks like this, and it has a yellow hull, or the outside of the kernel is a yellow color. Some popcorn, if you look at it, has a white hull, or the outside of each kernel is white. So you can either have yellow popcorn or white popcorn, but it'll all taste the same, just like popcorn. I want you guys to notice this popcorn. I bought it. It says homegrown popcorn for Kay's Easy Popcorn, homegrown popcorn in Green, Iowa. So there's a man up by Green that grows popcorn, and he has it packaged for our local grocery stores. So when we were talking about the popcorn, sometimes we eat popcorn, looks like this, doesn't it? It's in the microwave, or we put it in the microwave. You take it out of the bag and you lay it in there and you follow the directions, and it will pop a whole bag of popcorn for you, won't it? Well, this little ear, I have another one that I bought, and there's a brown paper bag in here. If you put this in the brown paper bag and put it in the microwave, it also would pop for you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send with this lesson 3 different kinds of popcorn, okay? The first kind of popcorn is buttered. This buttered popcorn is made in the microwave, and everyone in your class will get to taste the buttered popcorn. Okay, after you taste the buttered popcorn, you're going to get to taste the cheesy popcorn. And this will be the second example of popcorn. The last example will be caramel corn. And this is just a sweet caramel taste, sugary taste on top of the corn. So you'll get to taste buttered and cheesy and caramel. And I want you, after you've done your taste testing, I want you to decide which one of those 3 types of corn you like the best. Do you like the butter? Do you like the cheesy? Or do you like the caramel? And I'm going to send with your lesson this graph. Okay? Down here, there's from 0 to 25. So everyone in your class is going to be able to tell which corn of those 3 they like the best. So if the first one likes buttered, you'll fill in that little space above buttered. If you like the cheesy the best, you will fill that space in front of and top of the cheesy or the caramel corn. And each student will get to decide which one they have. Then when you look at this, you can see how many, which corn did the majority of the class like the best. It might be cheesy, it might be buttery, or it might be caramel. So then you can make the results of your taste testing right there. I'm going to also send you some additional pages to do with math and even some fun things like a maze. So I want you to think about popcorn this month. Did you know that January 19th is National Popcorn Day? And that's a day that everyone in the United States celebrates popcorn. Now remember, in our book we learned that most of the popcorn grown in the United States is shipped all over the world. So the United States produces enough popcorn to feed the people all over the world. That's something that we need to remember, how important our farmers are. I hope you enjoyed the lesson today about popcorn. I hope you enjoy your taste testing, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.